They're cleansing, they're bubbly, and they're almost in everyone's bathrooms. Today we will look at the anatomy of a shampoo, the pitfalls to avoid, and important ingredient considerations. I also have a free basic formula for you today that will help you get started in making a professional shampoo. This video is long overdue, so let's get straight in. The basic components of a shampoo are surfactants, water, the thickeners, the foam boosters, the conditioning ingredients, pH adjusters, preservatives, and optional ingredients like dyes, fragrances, vitamins, proteins, and extracts. Sounds pretty simple, right? Well, it kind of is, but there are a few things to consider when making a shampoo, such as what surfactants to use, how to thicken them, and how to make the product more aesthetically pleasing so your hair doesn't feel like tumbleweed afterwards. So now let's dive in more into the ingredients. By the way, today I will only focus on natural ingredients or ingredients that are approved by organic certification bodies like Cosmos or EcoCert. So if you also like to formulate with these ingredients, consider subscribing. The surfactants are at the heart of the formulation. They provide the cleansing action and they come in many different shapes and textures. Some are liquidy while others are in powder or even noodle form. Some are gentle, some foam like crazy, and some offer deeper cleansing, so ideally you want to combine these together to create a well-rounded product. Surfactants are grouped into 4 categories: anionic, cationic, non-ionic, and amphoteric. Each group has different charges and different characteristics about them. Anionic surfactants, such as sulfates, have a negative charge and are widely used in cleansing products due to their excellent foaming properties. Cationic surfactants have a positive charge and are valued for their conditioning abilities, which is why they are found in conditioners. Non-ionic surfactants lack that electrical charge and are prized for their gentle cleansing properties, which makes them suitable for sensitive skin. And lastly, amphoteric surfactants such as betanes carry both positive and negative charges, offering versatility and compatibility in a wide range of product formulations. If, like me, you found it difficult to memorize these in the beginning, here's a fun story to hopefully help you remember. Once upon a time in a chemical kingdom, there were 4 tribes. The cationic cats were always positively charged with energy, while the anionic ants were negatively charged and marched together in unity. The non-ionic nightingale were peacemakers, never arguing, always maintaining neutrality and harmony. Amidst all this, the amiable amphibia, the amphoteric ones, were friendly creatures who could adapt to any situation, sometimes positively charged and sometimes negatively charged. Everyone had their part to play in this kingdom, and they all lived happily ever after. The combination of these categories will really make or break a shampoo. Use only anionic surfactants and you'll get a very irritating product, but only use non-ionic surfactants and you'll most likely get an inefficient product that will not have a nice sensorial feel. So in a shampoo formulation, we usually combine 2 or more of these, and they are called primary and secondary surfactants. Our next category are the foam boosters. Foam is actually very important in a shampoo because it makes it easier to spread the product evenly throughout the hair, which might actually lead to a better cleanse. Although there are definitely some products that don't foam much but still cleanse well, consumers will always prefer more foam, so it is important to choose the right ingredients to achieve that. 2 common foam boosters are cocamidopropyl betaine and cocoa glucoside. While we're on the subject of foam boosters, let's also talk about ingredients that suppress foam. There are a few common ones to be aware of, such as oils, butters, and silicone alternatives, glycerin and glycols, and essential oils to some degree. Before mentioning the next group of ingredients, I wanted to let you know that I just released some premium formulas over on my website. If you have been wanting to create a range of products suited for all your hair needs, then this will be interesting for you. The formulations were designed to suit all hair types depending on the order they are used in. They are of course made with ingredients approved by organic certification standards. The tutorials are in video format with their formula calculator, and I offer some guidance on how to craft your perfect hair care routine depending on your hair type. Gone are the days where you have to rely on marketing claims to buy your hair care. With these formulas, you will be able to see what ingredients truly work and made sure all the ingredients can easily be accessed through online retailers in the US, India, the UK, and Europe. So if you've been wanting to make things like shampoos, conditioners, leave-in treatments, then consider checking it out. These are the only products I've been using and I've really seen a difference in my hair. For a limited amount of time, the formulas will have a special launch price, so make sure to check it out, and thank you for your support. Next up is water. This will actually make up the bulk of the formula, which makes shampoos very cost effective, especially when done yourself. Make sure to use distilled water or use a chelator if you are using mineral water, as minerals can interfere with your formulation, making surfactants foamless or make preservatives ineffective, which we really don't want. Shampoo bars have become really popular as a sustainable alternative to shampoos in bottles, but water is really the best solvent, and with water you can achieve so many different textures and cleansing abilities, so I prefer to formulate shampoos with water. That being said, I do have a shampoo bar formulation, so feel free to check it out if that's your jam. The free basic formula I'm sharing with you today will be a great starting point. On its own, it might not be conditioning enough, but you can build on this formula by adding your own actives or conditioning ingredients. Click the link in the description down below to access the formula. Moving on to the next class of shampoo ingredients, the conditioning ingredients. Conditioning ingredients are there to help counteract the cleansing powers of surfactants. They are important in all shampoo formulas, but depending on your hair type, you may want to use more or less of them. Often polyquaterniums are used as the conditioning ingredient in shampoos, but this is a big no-no in natural formulations. Luckily, there are many other ingredients that can be used that are considered more natural, like PCA glycerol oleate, cationic guar gum, and naturally approved cationic surfactants. The next category is the extras. So that would be things like extracts, proteins, essential oils, etc. These will give character to your shampoo formulation, but there is a caveat. These ingredients tend to be overhyped. You see, these products will be washed off within seconds and might not even have the chance to touch your scalp or hair strands, let alone coat or penetrate them. Often these are used by companies to create a story around the shampoo. It is much easier to sell you a calendula infused shampoo than a shampoo with the right amount of cationic guar gum. I'm sorry if I'm bursting anyone's bubble, but if you want to make really lovely formulations, there needs to be a shift from consumer mindset to formulator mindset. If the extract adds a bit of color, it smells nice, and it makes the product more fun, I don't see the harm in it. My biggest pet peeve is a wash-off product that has like 30 botanicals in them. It's not gonna do much, so save them for your leave-on products. That being said, I do love adding fragrances to shampoos. With fragrance, I'm always very careful, especially when it comes to skincare and products I put on my face. I try not to put anything that can be irritating, but with shampoos that will be washed off, there it's perfect to use a really nice, lovely scent that makes you feel fresh and inspired, and it serves a little bit as aromatherapy. Now let's talk about thickening our shampoo. Broadly, there are two main ways to thicken a shampoo formula, with salt or with gums. Which you choose depends on what the surfactant system likes. For example, sodium cocoa sulfate responds really well to electrolytes, while others like cocoa glucoside don't. Salt works by increasing the size of the micelle. If you have no idea what a micelle is, that is basically a team of surfactant molecules grouped together on a mission to remove dirt. So the salt helps to thicken by getting the micelle and making it bigger, so they take more space in the water solution. Larger micelles also tend to make the product milder. This way of thickening a formula is a bit more tricky because not all surfactants respond to salt. There is also the issue of the salt curve. You see, the more salt you add, the thicker the product becomes, but there comes a point where adding more salt will actually thin out the product. I can't say an exact percentage where that happens because it really depends on your formulation, what surfactants you're using and what concentration, what are other electrolytes in the formula, but I can say generally that salt is added at a concentration of 0.5 to 3% on average. The other way to thicken a formula is by adding gums. This requires a lot of experimentation to get a product that is thick enough that it won't simply flow off your hand, but not too thick that it starts to feel like snot. As you can tell, I've had to make a lot of trials. Last but not least are our preservatives. I don't have to tell you about the importance of preservatives anymore, I know you know that, but I just wanted to mention a few points that are important to consider. So it is very important to choose the right kind of preservative, as some of them are actually deactivated by the surfactant system because they carry charges. Remember, our surfactants carry different charges: positive, negative, neutral, and both. It is also important to pick a preservative that will work in the pH range of your formulation, and how much of it you use will come down to what is in your formulation, aka is there a lot of bug food or not. Finally, you can consider boosting the efficacy of your preservative by adding a chelator, which will bind the metal ions and make sure that these metal ions do not interfere with the rest of your ingredients. Now that we have all our ingredients together, we can get started with formulating, right? Not so fast. Before that, we need to calculate something called the active surfactant matter. Because we add different surfactants at different concentrations in formulations, we need to know how much cleansing agents we actually have in the formulation. You see, different surfactants have different values of active matter depending on if it's in solid form, if it's a mix of surfactant, or if water was added to that surfactant. This won't give the full story of how cleansing the product will actually be, because we still need to consider the charges and the micelle size, but it will help you to understand how much detergent you actually have in your product. So first, you want to calculate the active surfactant matter of each surfactant in the formula. That is the concentration of surfactant in the formulation times the active content of each surfactant. Look on the supplier's website, the packaging of the ingredient, or the specification sheet to find out that value. Then when you have all the individual values, you can add these up together to get the total ASM of the formulation. Usually the ASM of a shampoo is between 10 to 30%, 30 being quite strong of a shampoo, and usually 15 is a happy medium. If you ever need more guidance on shampoos or anything else formulation related, just know that I offer some consultation sessions through my website, so feel free to reach out and I look forward to hearing from you. Remember to check the link down below for the free basic formula, and if you want to up your hair care game immediately, then check out my hair care premium. That is it for today. I hope you found this helpful. Consider liking this video if you did. Thank you, bye!